All right, welcome back to PMCertDC podcast. This week I have a very special guest with me, author Scott Payne. He's a PMP, LSSBB, CSM, MBA, BS Systems Engineering. He has more acronyms after his name than anybody I know. His name, Scott Payne. He is the author of the newly released PMP Master Prep Manual, which, by the way, I read, and it's a great book, and the creator of the PMP Master Prep system. A practicing PMP and project deployment expert, Scott has 15 plus years of experience successfully designing and deploying Lean Six Sigma project programs with multiple Fortune 500 companies. As a managing partner of PMP Master Prep, Scott now equips organizations and individuals with both PMP focused and custom training courses, systems, and coaching to improve their project performance to world-class levels. Welcome on the line, Scott. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, a lot of people would say, hey, Nathan, you teach PMP classes yourself. Why would you have your competition on, especially an established author and somebody with so many acronyms after his name? But to me, it's all about spreading the word of the importance of the project management professional and all their associated certifications. So it's actually a real honor to be on with Scott today. And if you stick around to the end, we have a very special offer that Scott is graciously given to the PMCertDC podcast listener/viewer. So, Scott, how was your day today?
Day was great. I'm happy to be here. And like you said, I'm really happy to contribute to the PMDC, the community. I've loved your podcast, and I'm happy to be the first and I'm sure not the last author. So, and in time, I'm going to get you to write a book. So,
I do better in the blogosphere where it's say 500 words or less. It takes a special person, I think, sit down and actually write a book. Tell us first, how did you get into project management in the first place?
Well, I went to the United States Merchant Marine Academy, and I sailed as a merchant mariner for a couple of years. Then I got into a shipyard, and I started working projects. Everything was focused there on solving problems, standard manufacturing, production issues, get efficiencies here and there. And I really, really took to the project world. So I was super green at that point. And what I did was I started to model myself after a bunch of the people that I saw in the shipyard and other places that were really successful. And so I had a lot of enthusiasm at the time and some okay ideas, but I saw that the people who got the most success over time were these people that focused heavily on project management, the foundation it set for them, and really diving down into the fundamentals. So I had some master black belts that I apprenticed under and some PMPs. They set the foundation and set me on this course, and here I am now. So that's how I got started.
And not to date you or anything, but how long ago was that? How long ago was the Merchant Marines, and when did you get your PMP, or did you start with a CAPM first, the Certified Associate in Project Management?
No, I just jumped straight to the PMP. I've been doing project management for about 15 years, almost 40 now. And, I didn't know about the CAPM. I just jumped straight to the PMP. But my primary initial focus was Six Sigma and Lean. And then that led me into really be diving into the project management. And now I'm kind of headed toward the agile world. So
everybody seems to be going that way in the project management world. The agile PMP is a very popular thing right now. So you have an engineering background. So, engineering can be an ongoing thing, or it can be project by project. How does the PMP assist you with that?
Well, I see PMP and the project management as the foundation for everything that I do and everybody that I work with. We work with a lot of different companies, and what we try to do is, what we think is great about PMP is that it defines the three characteristics, and this is just straight from what we define, is we look for individuals with initiative, competency, and agility. And that's what we try to build in all our clients and all the people we work with. So if you think about what it takes to get a PMP, It's a tough test. You and I both know it's, 4 hours, 200 questions, tons of study, tons of research, real mastery. And to do that, to take that challenge, it takes a lot of initiative. So anybody who's doing this, that's what we see, somebody with a lot of initiative.
So,
and then,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
no, man.
I was going to ask, so do you think somebody who's brand new, obviously to be a PMP, depending on your education level, you have to have so many thousands of hours of project leadership experience on your belt. Would you advise somebody who's kind of getting into project management to start off with their CAPM?
I would. I think it helps. I say get into the game, start learning, and you're going to learn so much faster when you start getting involved. One of the great things about PMP is the community. So once you get to CAPM, you'll start getting involved in your local charter. You'll start talking to the people that you work with at your company, and then you'll just start elevating yourself so much. So yeah, if someone's out there and wants and saying, hey, I'm just going to wait for the PMP, I say, let's go for it. Let's go for the CAPM and let's get going. So you're just going to get better so quicker.
So just for my new listeners out there who are not CAPM, can you describe some of the foundations that you need to get a CAPM? Do you need the thousands of project leadership experience like the PMP?
No, you got to check the books. You put me on the spot. It's not right in front of me, but it's a much lower level. So there are standards, there are levels. Maybe we can drop it in the details of the podcast, but it's a shorter level. I can look at the front of the book, and it's something that you can easily do at the younger part of your career.
Yeah, I mean it's made for the more entry level project manager, correct?
I just pulled it up, page 16 of the book. Sorry, I didn't have it off the top of my head. High school education, most people have that now, and 1,500 hours of professional experience, or 23 hours of project management. So a good project management course is always a great place to start.
Yeah.
So that'll lead you right into it.
And most of them just take the PMP course along with PMP students. Obviously, the 35 contact hours that you need would more than suffice for that CAPM contact hours that you need. Now, does the CAPM, I don't think that it requires leadership experience like the PMP does. I think it's just pure project management experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I may be wrong, so if any of my listeners want to fact check me, I certainly welcome it. We're not the know-all, end-all of everything project management
right.
Institute.
It's always
rules
good to
and
see if
regulations.
people are listening out there, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if they listen to the end today, they get a special offer courtesy of Scott and his company. Talk about your current book.
Right. So the current book, the PMP Master Prep, our slogan is learn faster, retain more past the PMP. It's driven by the 5 big problems that I have faced when I talk to people who took the PMP and study for the PMP. Now, I won't go through all 5, but the book hits on the first top 3. So we're really, just like any project, we're trying to address 3 big problems that everybody out there faces. And as I talk through these, tell me, Nathan, if you think these are hit home for you and the people that you teach.
Yeah, exactly. Before you get into that, I will say that I have read the book. Scott, as part of this, did send me a courtesy copy, just disclosure up front. And I'd say out of all the books that I've read, it's the least boring because it can be a kind of boring subject. But Scott, and he might go into this a little bit, but he actually uses a real life fictional character to drive it home. And
right.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your book there.
Right. So the first problem that we've had is the PMBOK. I love it, man. But the PMBOK is long, it's dense, and it's not organized in the flow of a project. So if you're coming at this thing from a starter level, within the first 50 or so pages, you go from starting a project to closing a project because it teaches by knowledge area. And if people don't know about that, it's just there's 10 knowledge areas that break down a project, and they teach by those. And so it's hard for the introductory student and some of the more experienced people to wrap their head around this. So what we did was reorganize the book by process group. And what that means is it flows like a normal process from the beginning to the end. Every process is logical and it flows along. As you mentioned, Nathan, we put a lot of effort into condensing and writing the material in a way in which it's conversational and it's really focused on what you need to know to pass the test. And what we see about passing the test is it's not just about individual knowledge points, but it's about the connections that you make. So that's the big kind of defining characteristic of the book. Now, let me ask you, like, how easy is it for you as you started studying way back when you got your PMP to memorize all these ITOs and understand those? Because that's the second problem that we hit on.
It was a big problem. And for those that don't know, an ITO is an ITTO. It's go ahead and explain what ITTOs are, just really quick.
There's a number of processes that go through different things that must happen through a project. So that's the way the PMP is organized. And the ITO, every process has an input, has an output on the back end, what you're trying to produce. And then there are tools and techniques that transfer those inputs, which come from a lot of different places, into the outputs. And so when you think about it, just one process, it's fairly easy to get organized on what the inputs and outputs are. But you have 50 so processes, it gets very complicated. And then what we found is the test is not necessarily just focused on understanding and memorizing the ITO, the inputs, outputs, and tools and techniques. Instead, it's very situational. And that's beautiful because projects are situational. Things happen. You have to put yourself in a scenario and see where you fit and see what's going to happen. And so what we wanted to do was make the best of both worlds. So like you mentioned, we weaved a story through the entire course that follows a fictional character, John, through the process of following a project. And it hits on 25 different processes, has him use the inputs and tools and techniques to produce his outputs. And so it gives you perspective, it gives you an example to work with, and it gives you a picture to see. When I was writing it, and the reason why I got the idea is I was teaching myself from the PMBOK, and I had a movie going in my head of, hey, I think this is happening, and little stories here and there. And I said, this is probably going to be helpful for people. And so that's how it weaves through. And through this entire process, in addition to the story, we focus on the why of all these processes, not just the how. The ITOs are hows. That's how things happen. We focus on why and what happens when you have problems in projects. Projects are full of problems. So how do you react? And those things prepare you or designed to prepare you for the test, because that's what the test is going to ask you. How do you react to this situation? So that's the second problem. The third one, I think everybody, and this is another for you, let me know what you think about this, is the EVM. It's a looming thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do your students have the same kind of trepidation in that neighborhood?
Yeah. Yes. I'd say the EVM, and when you get down into the formulas, and then the other big one is forward, backward pass, and all that. I spend the most time in my class having to go over and over it again. And I like how your book kind of simplifies a tough part of the exam, and gives you that why and the how. Actually, I mean, it really gives you the tools and tips to pass that portion of the exam.
I appreciate it. You're proving that you did read it in depth. I appreciate it, man. So what we did was I came up with a method. It's a method that you can use to first study these EVM. And this is, for people who don't know, EVM, Earned Value Management. It's a way to evaluate your project as you go through and to monitor the progress. And so what we have is we teach you how to understand. There's a lot of equations and they all interact. And what the test will do is it'll give you an equation. It'll get, not necessarily an equation. It'll give you a scenario to say, this project is at this point in its life cycle. Give us some kind of indication in terms of EVM of how it's doing. And so what you have to do is interpret all this information and then remember all the equations, which are difficult to remember in the heat of the moment, and you don't have anything but a blank sheet of paper. And so sometimes that causes people a lot of stress, myself included.
Even an engineer.
Yeah, I'm an engineer. Yeah, and the numbers are my thing. So it causes me stress. And the thing is, there's only about 4% max probably of the entire test that's EVM. But what it does is it stresses people out so much that it ends up creeping in a bad way out to the rest of their performance.
Exactly.
And you end up hurting the rest of your performance, and that's not a good thing.
No.
So back to what we do is we teach you a simple method. You take a white sheet of paper. We teach you how to do this. And you write down your template we teach you how to do. It helps you break down your problem. It gives you comfort and security in being able to solve the problem. And it guides you from the top to the bottom to solve any EVM problem that you can throw at me. And so the thing that our students, we tell them, and at the end they feel this way. They don't believe us at the beginning, but at the end they believe us, is that when you walk into this thing, when you know our template, you pray for EVM questions because you're going to get them right. Because they're fairly simple, and there's a method to it. So those are the three things that differentiate our book, and that's what we're really, really proud of.
So if somebody, obviously they have to take a course, a 35 contact hour course, whether it's yours, mine, or any of the million others out there teaching the course, and they buy your book, will the book alone be enough to pass the test? If they know this book inside and out, if they get it, if they follow John through his...
Okay. We gotta go to...
Say again?
You broke up. We got to say it again. Just repeat, please.
So somebody, obviously they have to take a 35 contact hour course, whether it's yours or mine or somebody else's. If they use your book as a supplement for and read the book and get to know the book and all of John's life story in the book, will that be enough to pass the test?
Yes. I believe so. Our people do. They're going to take a test with you, me, or the other. They're going to get deep fundamentals in that class. And then what our book and our system, which I can talk about, is designed to do is to supplement that knowledge that you have and give you the perspective that you need.
Yeah.
Additionally, in the book, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we have a little bit of lag probably because we're obviously talking over the internet. What I think about the book is that what it does, it takes all that condensed knowledge, because most people will take a boot camp and then it just brings it all home into a big picture. Kind of reorganizes it for you, like you said.
Right. And so what we like to do is we like to hook people up with the book. And then what we've also done, another problem that I think that you're hitting on, and we're going into number 4 for the big 5 problems that we address, is that when you get out of your boot camp, what do you do then? Everybody needs a little bit more studying. They need to find their weaknesses and they need to eliminate them. So what we've done is we've created a system online with a simulator. We have 1,400 plus questions, and we have study resources that we've created that help guide people with the 5th problem. Is we have a defined study plan for post boot camp that help guide you section by section, knowledge area by knowledge area, and then process group to take focused, smaller quizzes to identify areas of need. We link you to the study resources, and you study those, and then you come back and build yourself, just like working out or anything else, build your skills to the end to taking a big test. So you're not caught off guard. And then what you're doing initially, another thing is you're pacing yourself. You're learning how to work the problems in the pace that you're going to have to do to solve on the test, on the exam. And so complementing the book with what we have a simulator that's $59. It has 1,400 questions and infinite numbers of ways to take the test, knowledge area or process group or exam, or our super simulator, which has you get everything from the regular simulator plus all the study resources. You're going to pass the test. We guarantee it. So that's what we've done.
Excellent. So tell us about any upcoming work you have.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're working on 2 additional books. I will talk about one right now, and we expect it to be out in a month to a month and a half. It's called the PMP Master Planner, and so it hits on exactly what you were talking about. After people take their boot camp or their course on the weekend, how do you fine tune your skills in a methodical, organized manner in order to hit your date when you want to take this PMP? Because people want to take this PMP, start building their career, get that new job, prove their competency, and keep learning. And so it's designed to set a date and then work you through methodically to get there using the simulator, using some of the resources that we put in the planner. There's some really focused points. We take a lot of the master points, which are in our book, which are the condensed 175, need to know linkage points in the PMP content, and we put those in the planner, and some other unique little activities to help you build your skills. So the PMP Master Planner is our next product, and I'm excited to come back on the podcast and share that with you.
Yeah, me too. So how long after a test do you advise your students? No, I'm sorry. How long after their course do you tell a student what is the optimal time for them to take the test after they've completed their course?
I'd say a month and a half to 2 months at max. So a lot of people, let's say a month to 2 months is what we tell them. And that's just leaving variability based on the expertise of the individual. A lot of people need first of all, honestly, if you're going through a boot camp, you probably need a couple of days to relax. And so you're going to come back, you're going to rethink what you learned, you're going to focus on what you need to study. And that month to a month and a half gives you that. Then you'll be able to prepare for the test, have your last week be a tapering week if you ever were in sports, where you kind of level down and you get ready and you get refreshed and you're ready to go. And so this is all covered in the planner and how to prepare for the exam. And honestly, a lot of this prep work and preparing for the exam is in our original book, the Master Planner, or the PMP Master Prep book. So that's how I prepare.
That's good advice. Great advice. So put you on a spot question here. You started your own business. It looks, and I think you have a business partner as well.
Yep.
What has been the biggest challenge to building your business?
Well, the biggest challenge to building our business, there are so many. First of all, it's focus. I think the biggest thing is focus and keeping the fundamentals. My business partner is great. He aligns us to what we need to do. I'm a big picture thinker. I'm creating this book. I'm creating more products, but there are a lot of fundamentals that you have to focus on. And so building the business, building relationships with people. I mean, when Nathan reached out to me, I thought it was great. And I think we're building a great relationship here. So the fundamentals is the biggest thing, making sure all the details are done at the beginning of the business. And once you get those done, once we got that stuff done, then we had a great foundation to build on. And so if anybody's out there starting, I'd say, take your time. You want to take over the world tomorrow, and I'm with you. But build those fundamentals at the beginning, and it's going to give you that foundation that you can build on, and I know you're going to be successful.
Well, would you do it again?
Man, I'm doing it every day. I do it every day. It's the best decision. It's the most difficult thing, but it's like having kids or getting married. It's amazing. And it's definitely something I would do again, and I would advise people to do it at the right time when they're ready to roll. So yes, my answer is I'd do it again every day.
Excellent. All right, so as promised to my listeners/viewers, I'm going to let Scott present the special offer that we got for some of his material from his company, PMPmasterPrep.com. Go ahead.
I appreciate it, Nathan, and everybody out there. What we're going to do is we have a 20% off code. It's a PMCertDC. It's on the screen, and it's for both the book or any of our simulator products. So all you have to do is go to PMMasterPrep.com, find the manual or the simulators, type in your code, PMCertDC, the best podcast for PMP on the internet, and you will get off. Right now, we originally charged $69 on Amazon for our PMP Master Prep manual. It's got the story of John, the focus on why, not how, and the critical points and the 200 questions. It's $55 to you guys. Our exam simulator, like we said, is 1,400 plus questions. You can take questions by knowledge area, process group, full exams, as many as you want. It's fully trackable. You get detailed answers to everything. Regularly $60, $59 for you, 47. And then our super simulator, you get unlimited access to the exam simulator, plus all these custom online resources that we have. You get one-touch access to our PMBOK guide. It's really innovative stuff that we've developed. Then you have the 25 case videos. I forgot to even mention that, man. We turned our case studies into videos, so I'm a visual learner. Visual learners out there will love this. And then we have EVM calculators, formulas that explain all the equations, everything in there you need to pass. So take Nathan's course, take my course, then use these things to study for your test, pass your test, send us good news, and that's all I got, man.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So if you buy all three, I mean, you're saving.
So that's it. I appreciate it.
You're saving over $50, $60. So I definitely recommend this product. If I didn't, I wouldn't have had him on my podcast. But I read his book. His book is great. I can't recommend his simulators, his manuals. Heck, if you don't choose my course, definitely choose his. I mean, the guy's got it down. Scott, I want to thank you for coming on. And as soon as you get that new book out, reach out to me so we can get another podcast.
You're the first person I'm sending it to, man.
All right.
I'll send it. Why don't we? Yeah, we need to talk about your book. I know you got a book inside of you. I'm going to get it out. So.
No, I'm a blogger, but you know what? Maybe I will. Maybe you can write a book on how to write a book, and then I'll read that. So, all right. But yeah, I'm
all right, man. Well, I appreciate it. It's really an honor to be on here, and I look forward to being on again. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for joining us this week on the PMCertDC podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely leave your comments if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching on LinkedIn, go ahead and hit me up. Scott is one of my contacts. I'm not sure if you can see my contacts, but definitely link up with Scott Payne if you can find him on LinkedIn. Until next week, we're out.